Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard, Cisneros, at your service. Today I will be reading the November 24th Facebook post and making a few comments on it, and I trust that it will assist both of us on our journeys. Here we go. Healing the world by healing our thoughts. Today we look within and acknowledge that this world is shaped by the thoughts we think and support. When we focus on healing our own thoughts, we help heal the world. Guilt results from projecting unhealed thoughts that we hold about ourselves onto others. Guilt is a way that those unhealed parts of us call out for help and healing. Today, instead of projecting the unhealed aspects of ourselves onto our brothers and sisters, we focus on healing our thoughts before they leave us. When we do, we will start to notice a more healed world appearing before us. Once we rediscover the kindness within, we begin to see a kinder world. When we return to our gentle nature, the world once again softens. And when we choose forgiveness instead of judgment, the world becomes a more accepting, loving, and inviting place. The thoughts we think create the world we see. Each one of us creates our own worlds by the thoughts that we think and support. The thoughts that we think and support fuel our words, our actions, our reactions, and our interactions. And so today we're going to practice looking within, looking at the thoughts we think, and seeing what thoughts we are supporting, and then seeing what thoughts we want to support so that we can create the world we truly want. And so let us focus on three things. Let's focus on trying to align our thoughts in order to create the world we want. 2, trying to not support the thoughts that will not support the world we want. And 3, not judging ourselves for having thoughts that do not support the world we want. I know it sounds a little complicated, but hopefully it won't be so complicated after I discuss it. Okay, first, we want to align with our true nature. That is what in truth we want to do. We want to align with the truth within us. Just as rivers flow to the sea, we want to flow to our true state. And our true state is love. Because that is who created us, love itself, himself, herself. And so we're always looking to express love in whatever ways we can. Now there's many expressions of love, such as kindness, compassion, generosity, peace, joy, forgiveness. And so we're always looking to align with those energies. And so today let us try and focus on having our thoughts align with those energies before they leave us in the way of words, actions, reactions, interactions. And so that is one way we can start creating the world we want, by aligning with our true nature. By aligning our thoughts with our true nature and thus creating the world we in truth desire. Because we have come here to help and heal this world. And we do so by aligning with the truth within. And when doing so, we help shine a light for our brothers and sisters, that the world they are also experiencing, they are also creating. Second, let us try and not support those thoughts that are not supportive of us. For example, we have been taught that we are something other than love, but love is all. So really, there's nothing There's no such thing as an opposite to all. But in the ego's world, in the world of duality, there is such thing as opposites to love, opposites to forgiveness, such as judgment, opposites to joy, such as judgment, opposites to peace, such as pain. And so we have been taught by the world of duality. And those in it that taught us simply are teaching us from what they themselves were taught. And so we have bought into the idea that anger, resentment, judgment, jealousy, revenge, they're all natural parts of us, but they're not. And the more we delve into them, the more we see how unaligned they are with the truth with us, the truth within us. And when we are unaligned with the truth within us, we have this sense of guilt. We have this sense of just not feeling right. And so we want to stop those thoughts, and we stop them by stop supporting them. We stop supporting them with our time, energy, and focus. And thus we provide less and less fuel for them, and thus the less they can travel. And the less part of our world they become. And thirdly, we want to not judge ourselves for having these negative quote-unquote thoughts, these unaligned thoughts. The ego would want us to judge ourselves for being angry, being resentful, being jealous, and it would tell us we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not wise enough, or spiritual enough. But today we're not going to do that. We're not going to put ourselves down for expressing our illusions, because the way we realize in this world that illusions are but illusions is to experience I can do this. Experience them long enough to see that they are illusionary. See, that wasn't that hard. And so today we're not going to judge ourselves for making mistakes. We're going to see that mistakes are simply a roadmap showing us where we desire no longer to go and what energies we desire no longer to support. And so we're not going to judge ourselves or feel guilty about feeling negative emotions. We're simply going to feel them and try to be with them long enough to become consciously aware of them. Because many times we're just simply reacting as we have been programmed to react. And so we react in an angry manner or in a judgmental manner because that's just the way we've been taught to react. But we don't really feel how in alignment or out of alignment those thoughts and emotions are with our true nature. And so today we're going to use our own negative emotions and negative thoughts to bring us back into alignment. And then we're going to have gratitude. We're going to give gratitude to those negative thoughts, that negative thinking, because it's helping us realize where we desire no longer to be. And because we're learning where we no longer desire to be, we stop going in that direction and stop creating that kind of world for us. And there's numerous examples we can go into. Let's take an example. For example, I'm a Latin male. So I've been taught to view women in a not very holy fashion, let's say. Or to look at their physical nature first instead of their spiritual true selves. And so I wanted to, as I grew, I wanted to align more with my spiritual self, with my spiritual nature, which I knew to be my true self. And so I made a conscious choice to stop seeing individuals as bodies, or quote unquote beautiful or ugly or curvy or not curvy or whatever. I started to notice how when I aligned with my ego thinking, with my worldly thinking, I was stuck in a place where I did not want to be. I was placing too much focus on the body instead of on the spirit. And I did not want to be there any longer. I wanted to align more with my spiritual state and see my brothers and sisters as the spiritual beings they are. And so a way I started doing this was by looking upon my other women, so to speak, as my sisters, or even as Mother Mary, since I am Christian, Catholic. That's my background. So by looking at them as a spiritual being, or as someone in my mind, I aligned to a spiritual being, as God's gifts to me, so to speak, as my spiritual sisters, then I was able to interact with them in a more spiritual manner and see them and assist them in their own journeys without, or by putting the ego's thoughts aside. More of the, I'm not sure how to say it, the male thoughts aside when it comes to women. I have no idea. Anyway, the idea was that I looked at an individual, I looked past their bodies, past their quote-unquote physical beauty, and into their spirit. And that's who I worked with. I worked with a spirit in that physical body, and not the physical body. And by doing that, I aligned more of my time with spirit, and more of my words and thoughts and actions with spirit. And I felt more at peace and more joyful by doing this, because I was treating my sisters as they're supposed to be treated, as God's creations, instead of some kind of goal, physical goal, let's say. Equally so when we come to judgment. Many times we judge other people for what they might say, look like, or do if it doesn't fit into our thought system, into our belief system, into the way that we've been taught that life should be. But in truth, we have such little knowledge of each individual's journey that we have to make a decision. We have to decide if our ego's plan for their life is really more aligned with their true nature than believing that God's source and their higher self have a perfect plan for their own life. And so we can either judge their journey through our ego, or respect their journey because we're respecting that their highest self and God's source has created a perfect plan for them. And so whatever it is they're going through is what they need to go through. And so when we start respecting that idea that God, source, and their highest self are creating a perfect plan for them, and have created a perfect plan for them, and then we stop judging or becoming resentful or jealous of whatever steps they're taking, because their steps are perfect for them and our steps are perfect for us. We both have individualized sacred journeys, and when we attune to that idea that each journey is sacred and each journey is individualized and sacred, then we align with the peace within, and we have peace in regards to their journey, and we have peace in regards to our journey, and we don't have to judge their journey for being unlike our journey, and when we don't have to be angry or hateful or revengeful because their journey looks unlike ours. And so we align with a state of peace when it comes to other people's journeys instead of the state of judgment. And by aligning with a state of peace, with aligning with trust in God's source, then we receive peace. And the more we practice this aligning with our true nature, the more peace we have. And the more joyful moments in life we experience. And the more peaceful life we experience. And the less judgment we experience, simply because we are controlling the thoughts we think. And so today we go ahead and do that. We simply align with the true nature, with the love that we truly are, and we support those thoughts. We support the thoughts of love, compassion, kindness, joy, peace, forgiveness. Then we stop supporting thoughts that are not supporting our journey or the journey that we want, such as anger, resentment, jealousy, confusion. And then we stop judging ourselves for having quote-unquote negative thoughts. Instead, we offer these thoughts gratitude because they're showing us where we desire no longer to go and where we desire no longer to spend our time. And so we start spending more and more time in alignment with our true nature, and then our life starts to become a creation of this thought process. And then we start having a more joyful, peaceful, compassionate, passion-filled, love-filled life. And so that is what we shall try today and see how that works for you. Because in the end, it is our thoughts that create the world we experience. It is the thoughts that we support that we end up spending our time, energy, and focus on, and that's the life we experience. And it's our choice. We may have been programmed with illusionary thoughts, but we do not judge ourselves anymore for that. We simply thank them for their service to us and return to aligning with our true nature. Thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. If you'd be so kind as to like, comment, or share this video, it might help with the listening process and it might help somebody find this information who can use it someday. If you'd like to leave me a comment or a question, I will be delighted to try and offer a response. And if you can please subscribe to my YouTube or Google Plus communities, I would love to have you in them. Again, thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. And God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. Peace.